Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Baptized&Clueless. I am one of your hosts, Yusuf, and I'm here with Michelle. Michelle, Edie, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. Glad to have you guys today.
Nice to have you back, as usual. And Wesley, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Yusuf.
Good to hear, good to hear, good to hear. And I know you guys want to ask me, so yeah, I'm doing pretty fine myself. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Glad you know.
so today's topic is one that everyone should be able to relate to. I mean, there's probably people that won't be able to, but for the most part, 90% of the world can definitely do so. Today we're talking about the kids have trauma.
Mhm.
And we're speaking about the trauma in life itself. When we're talking about kids, I know the first thought is, you're thinking about yourself in your childhood. But I wanted you to bring it back a step further, specifically a generation further back. Let's think about your parents.
Yeah.
And your parents' parents.
Ooh.
They put the trauma in trauma. Word is the last part of that word.
Yeah.
Like if each letter in the word trauma had to represent a generation, you just keep thinking back. And
wow,
it'll help give a little more perspective to what you're going through, but really get you to understand what they had to go through.
Yeah.
So when you hear the kids have trauma, what comes to mind right off the bat now that we're thinking about our parents?
Yeah. For me, I would say that the first thing that comes to my mind is, that's not when we talk about parents, how, they were the ones that basically passed down the trauma to us. That was not that took me time to realize that, because, I always thought that the things that I go through, that I put on myself. And, some of the stuff, yeah, I probably did put on myself, but there are things that I feel like are generational curses, and they were passed down to us. And so, it's like, it takes, real, like digging into yourself. Yeah. To really find out why you do these things. Like, if this was just you, or if this was just your parents and they dealt with it.
Right.
And so,
all right.
for me, I could give one example. Like, I'll touch on it real quick. Like, me dealing with lust. Like, I realized that this was something that was passed down to me. Because I ended up finding out that my dad also dealt with that as well. And, who knows, his dad probably dealt with that as well. And so I know that this is something that I'm battling within myself, but it's because it's a generational curse. And we all know that those are tough to like break, It's only through Jesus that we can break, like we can really break them.
Exactly.
So
thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that about you, but thanks for sharing that.
yeah.
See what happens when you dig deep, answers start revealing itself. Michelle, what do you feel when you hear the title "The Kids Have Trauma"?
I resonated so much with what Wes just said about, like, when you start to dig, you realize that this is generational trauma and that it came from the past. And you were joking before we started the show about the word trauma, TRAUMA, 5 letters. Like, literally, the generational curses are, 6. The generational curses are impacting multiple generations. We're joking about one generation per letter for trauma, right? And actually, one of the big things that, when I think about the generational traumas, I stayed in my marriage thinking that I was breaking a generational trauma, because I was raised in a single parent home and I refused to raise my children in a single parent home. But I didn't realize that the generational traumas made me start a marriage in a bad way that should never have started, because I just had the trauma holding on to and I had not addressed them prior to marriage.
Right.
And it wasn't a one-sided thing for me or for my ex or for my former partner. It was for both of us. Neither of us had addressed our generational trauma issues, and they impacted our marriage significantly. And until I actually was in that position where I was separated and finally, walked away and decided I'm really going to dig into healing these generational traumas. It was the first time that my spirit literally was begging for surrender to God. Because I realized that it was too big for me to handle alone. It was too much from the past. The traumas from the past was not just my own parents, it was their parents and their parents' parents.
Yeah.
But then I also have children. And so my children, everything that I don't heal right now is it already impacting them and will continue to worsen if I don't get better. In terms of impact to my children. But more importantly, that also impacts their children and their children's children.
Yeah.
So the impact is insane. And I know for a fact in this season of one of the biggest things that I wouldn't say forced my surrender, but really broke me. And I was craving and desiring and chasing after God in this season is because I said, God, let me be the generational curse breaker. But when you tell God you're ready for that, oh, that's a big prayer.
Yeah.
Brought back a lot of weight to carry. Wow.
It's a big, but I'm willing to do it. If it requires, I've always been a follower of Jesus, but I'm willing to walk in a level of obedience that I've never walked in before because I realized that if I don't break this now, maybe my children may not break it. Not to say that they can't, not to say that they won't, but I know I have the heart, desire, and determination to do it. So if I'm going to submit to God right now, let me lay down my whole life to Him to save my future generation, my bloodline. And I never could have understood that before. I never could have understood that before. We don't realize the impact of the past, but it's one thing the impact of the past is one thing, but the weight of what it carries for your future generations.
The unknown weight. You just know it's going to be heavy. You don't know
Yes.
That's huge. Well, first of all, I'd like to commend you both of you for being so transparent so quickly.
Yeah.
You didn't have to serve any drinks. Didn't have to serve food. You guys got right into it. I really appreciate that. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
That means I can hold back then because I don't need to share. So, no, but to touch on what you both had said though, like, at the end of the day, even to take on recognizing the trauma itself, one thing we could do to deal with any kind of problem is take it in bite size. If you see the things that are wrong with your parents and you recognize them in yourself, bring them to God one at a time because you're only going to be able to handle one at a time. Like you bring the whole entree to him, of course, but he's going to deal with things one at a time because he knows what you can take. He's going to give you the capacity to take on what you can take on. And it's like if you're able to break, if you know you got 5 and you're able to break 2, I mean 3 maybe left with the kids, but that you gave them 2 less. And we have to be able to be okay with the fact that we're making some progress because I don't think this conversation ever happened with our parents. And I know it didn't happen with our grandparents.
You're very right.
And for sure, the heck didn't happen with our parents. Too many things going on.
You're making me realize how much a privilege it is to have this conversation because the traumas of the past were so heavy. This was not a privilege for them. Survival was the privilege.
Exactly. Because they did that, that's why we're still here. Some parents didn't do that.
Right.
And their generational line stopped. Multiple reasons.
Yeah.
When I hear people say they don't want to have kids because they don't want to bring their kids into this kind of crap, I'm like, I get it. Have you ever thought about fixing the crap so it starts with you first before you decide that that's it?
Yeah.
And what you mentioned, Michelle, about trying to correct these things now so it doesn't continue with your lineage. At the end of the day, that's called sacrifice of a parent.
Yeah.
When we're selfishly feeling the pain, we just think about how it's affecting us and us alone. And we only want to stop here. That's all we think about. That's initially how it's been, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older, you start to recognize that the whole real point of making the stop is not really just for you. It's the aftermath.
Right.
Your kids' kids. And they'll see the difference. In some cases, they'll see the difference. In some cases, it just won't be the same at all. So, like, for instance, Wesley, the situation with lust, like, no one has to see you having a lustful heart or thoughts.
Yeah.
If you're able to break it now, should you have kids, it doesn't go forward. And for those who don't believe spiritually, one, I don't know why you're watching the show or listening to the show. So I shouldn't have to put this disclaimer on. But for those of us who understand, these spiritual things do tie in over and over. People want to know, why is this family cursed and blah, 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 blah. It's because no one dealt with anything. And it's on the spiritual sector of things.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, your children won't have to do that because you stood up to say, no, you brought it to God and you said, help me. God said, here you go. Here are the tools you need to do this. And you've broken it because you no longer repeat it. So it's not going to be, it's no longer tied in that spiritual DNA of yours.
Right.
And that's the importance of it. And I'm telling you, you're so right. You don't know what your parents are up to until you know what your parents are up to. And your parents are going to discuss these things with you. So you got to discover these things as you go along. You got to watch their personalities and behavior. Pick it up. Like my dad is highly opinionated. Guess who got stuck with that? This guy.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But you don't understand. You guys think I've got opinions? My dad, and I love my dad in all due respect, but personality wise, he could be watching TV and he'll put two and two together that were never supposed to be together in the first place. Oh, he'll just come with a statement like, yeah, that's because so and so. So I'm like, where'd you get that from? Like, why? Some of these things can be funny, and then some of these things there's underlying dangers. Like, as far as a sexual trait that repeats itself, a lot of men have gone through that, and that's one that's woven into a lot of families. And a lot of people sit there and go, well, I don't have the issue. You don't, huh? Yes. You have no control of your sexuality because you're just loose with it. And you think it's just a society.
Right.
More than just that.
It isn't. It's more. It's so much more.
I've learned to have grace for the folks because I recognize that as a society, if we take it back to where we are in our generation, there's a lot of blame game going on, a lot of finger wagging. Yeah. People go to therapy, just complain about their parents, and they have a right to complain about what took place, but they have no idea of how to take a step back to understand how that could
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because the first thing I think about is the weight of the accountability or the price tag for that accountability to make that change. I want to share like a little of transparency because I think it's important to not just be authentic, but for people to be relatable for people who are listening, because when they can see the true veil lifted on the struggle that someone else walks through, because we often will put people onto this pedestal of they're doing fine because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And they don't realize the reality behind it. I say this to say, like, I recognized the generational trauma. And for me, I made it a point that I will make sure that my children also get therapy. And it's not just that it's heavy and it's difficult. I'm a single parent with no additional support. It's expensive for therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm full transparency, it's $200 per session. And like if you're going to get therapy for your children, it's a weekly thing that you need to commit to for a period of time. And the reason why I'm being transparent and saying that is because it's easy to not make the choice to make the change.
Yeah.
If I, for 1 second, decided that I'm going to do this, and the weight of this is on my shoulders, I would have broken and I couldn't handle it. But because I understand that I have to hand it over to God, that he is going to have to be my provider. He is going to have to be my Jehovah Jireh in this circumstance because I just don't have it. And he has every single time made a way. But it's because I can take it off of myself finally and say, God, me alone, I will do everything I can. But the thing is, even at the greatest capacity of what I can do on my own will is nothing compared to what you can do, God.
Right.
And so I take this off of my plate and I place this on your altar, Father God, for you to address, for you to deal with, for you to supernaturally do your work. But that takes a level of submission to God that most of us haven't ever truly experienced. We talk about it, but when we have to make daily choices, our daily choices don't represent that submission to God. And that is a heavy weight to carry, because even if you're a two-parent home and the finances are there, it requires a level of unpacking that could be uncomfortable for your family unit.
Yeah.
It requires, there's so many pieces to that puzzle, and they are heavy. And they're heavy, but we forget that they're heavy for just a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That unpacking lightens the load. You're lightening the load, and you're giving it to God.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a day where you don't even realize that it happened, but all of a sudden, every person in your family is walking that much lighter because of the heavy work that was done to do that unpacking, and forgiving the past generation, having grace with our future generations, but also we know better, we do better, right? We're going to actively try to do better. And like you said it so perfectly, I appreciate how you said it. You said it, maybe if there's 5 major traumas that need to be dealt with, even if all you managed to deal with in your generation was 3, that is 3 your children do not have to carry forward. And now they can work on the undoing of the other 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Thank you for sharing that personal testimony. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. And one thing that Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church, one thing he said was that what's not transformed is transferred.
Yeah.
And so basically when he said that, he was saying like whatever you're dealing with in your life um that you're not working on to try and transform it, it's gonna get transferred. And another thing he said was that you may not have caused it, but now it's your responsibility. And he was referring to the things that you deal with, even if it's things that were passed down to you from your parents. Like, and that's what he was referring to, was like, you may not have caused it, but now it's your responsibility. And it's our responsibility to now, transform it, try to break that generational curse.
Right.
And, like you guys said, it is going to be a weight. It is going to be a weight because like you're carrying, you don't know how long ago it's been. Yeah. And so it's like, it's going to be heavy, but it's something that, it's not impossible with God,
Exactly.
and I know 3 of us and the people who may be listening may have things that they're dealing with that, they're working on. And it may seem like it's a daunting task,
Right.
but it's not impossible for God. So when he said that was really powerful, him saying that.
As you touch on that, I was just thinking about how quite a lot of people understand the traumas in their life, and they see it as a weakness. And the truth is, recognition of a problem is the beginning of the solution.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've heard people in our chat groups that we have, complain and like, it's so funny how we accept things in society. Like, well, I don't like so and so because so and so. It's like, okay, so you know where it started from. You know you're like that. You clearly don't like it, yet you sit in the repeat section.
Yeah.
It's like we lose our emotional intelligence right out the bat when we're hurt. And they're looking at the opportunity as, okay, I recognize this crap. I don't like it. I'm going to do something about it. Some people are built like that right off the bat, but a lot of people are not. And it's not even so much that they're not built like that. They were trained not to take on the logical side of dealing with things because it's so much easier to curl up.
It is.
So much easier to lay down. So much easier to duck.
To run away.
We have a society of people who don't want to deal.
Yeah.
My word for 2025 is accountability. It hurts.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a solution to so many things. If you don't recognize that you're a sinner, you're going to be walking around thinking that you're doing all well and you're great. You don't need this. You don't need that.
Yeah.
If you don't recognize that you're an overtalker, if you don't recognize that you don't speak up enough, if you don't recognize that you eat too much, if you don't recognize you don't take care of your body and your health, like if you don't take accountability for that, yeah, I could do better. When are you going to start improving?
True.
We've seen what
Right.
let's look at it this way. I don't think our parents' generation did that. Like you said
Of
earlier,
course
it's
not.
survival mode.
Not many.
Yeah. You know the
Yeah.
accountability they did? The accountability that they took care of, which was great, was, hey, I need a better life for my family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that generation is much more family oriented than ours. Even though there was divorce rates and whatnot, it's not flippant like it is now. People get married,
Right.
get divorced in two-twos, all the smallest things. They don't
Yep.
fight through anything that could be a problem. They run. That
Right.
generation took on a lot of hardship, and because they're dealing with a lot of hardship, they didn't deal with any personal time for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very
No
right.
personal healing. And the Bible, as I was looking up different verses to go through, they're all speaking the same one verse. You can find it in Matthew and Exodus or Deuteronomy. It's like it's written all over the place about honoring your father and mother. Deuteronomy 5:16.
Yeah.
As the Lord your God commanded you, then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. It's so prominent that Jesus said the same thing in Matthew 15. But
Right.
then God say, honor your father and mother, and whoever abuses or insults his father or mother must be put to death. Like that's the quote that was stated from Moses. And Moses is old school Bible.
Old school.
Everything was vengeance and death. Everything was vengeance and death. Eye
Yes.
for an eye.
That's the reality of the Old Testament.
Exactly, right? Before God's grace.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's Jesus repeated the same thing, and Jesus didn't say it was wrong. Like it's still part of it. Like, honoring your parents, it can be difficult sometimes, but sometimes our parents, the things that they say to us, we're like, what the? You're not dealing with an adult when they say certain things. They're dealing with a trauma, and they don't even know about it tonight. The kid that was hurt how many days ago.
And as you were saying that, Yusuf, it's like, yeah, it is definitely hard sometimes to honor them when they, say certain things or do certain things. Because I know a lot of us, we can relate to our parents, saying a certain thing to us, not to do this, not to do that, but yet their actions say something else.
That's right. That's right.
And it's like, they just did the best they could, with what they knew and how they knew how to do it.
Exactly.
And
put some respect on it.
Yeah. And like you said, Yusuf, their mindset was basically to provide a better life for their family. And if that meant to tell their kids a certain thing that they didn't do themselves, or are not doing themselves, then that's what it meant to do. Even if they like for example, if they're telling their kids not to curse, but then they're cursing themselves.
So true.
Yeah. It's like they don't realize in their heads that, my kids are looking at my actions too. Like my actions speak louder to my kids than my words do.
What you do holds more weight than what you say.
Yeah, exactly. And so, at the end of the day, it took me a while to learn this, but I had to learn to realize that my parents, they did the best they could, with what they knew and what they learned from their parents. And so I have to just show them grace and realize that, now that some of the stuff I picked up from them, now that I'm dealing with it, it's my responsibility to transform it so that way it don't pass on to my kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. So
You
go ahead.
have to think like they did a decent job of getting us to this point, but we don't even. And I'm going to specifically speak to the generations of the past for the three of us, because it's undoubted that in our past 2 to 3 generations back, there's a lineage of slavery at some point.
Right.
And I think that sometimes we know this, but I think sometimes we forget how damaging that was and how strong those effects still are, and still were present in the generation of our parents. We might feel a little bit far removed from it, but I say that to say my mom was born in the 40s. And when I watch movies as a grown woman of the 40s, segregation was still a major thing.
Snap.
That's right.
Yeah.
I grew up in an era where there was no segregation. I sat in my classroom next to the kid from Mexico, from Poland, from Newfoundland. Like
Exactly.
that was a norm, a complete and total norm. But my mother was born and raised in a time that she was not allowed to drink from the same water fountain as someone of another color and another race.
That was
And I say that because I distinctly remember, a big childhood wound where my mother said to me to sweep something under the rug that was major. And and only as an adult, as I unpack those traumas, I have to question how big was the trauma that my mother endured she was told to sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
How big was the trauma that my mother's mother endured that she might have been told to suck it up and sweep it under the rug?
Oh yeah.
And so as much as it impacted me, I have privilege to be able to get supports, unpack those things, and be able to heal that for my future generations where survival literally was the only thing they had. Like they were just trying to not die sometimes.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Keep alive so they can do better. They didn't know how they're gonna do better.
Right.
But then you keep you alive was the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy what that's all fact.
And we don't give them enough grace. Like you said, honor our mother and our father. And we're like, yo, you know my mother and my father did? Oh my gosh, they're so terrible. They're so evil.
Bring them up on Jerry Springer.
Until we're adults.
Bring on Jerry Springer.
It's true. On every talk show, they go talk about their
We
parents.
don't really give them the grace they deserve.
Not one bit.
That's true. Yeah, that's so true.
Not one bit. Because it's easy to blame other people than to look at yourself.
Yeah. That's where the accountability comes in.
Pass the buck, exactly. So we live in a society that doesn't like to take responsibility of their own actions, even if it comes from somewhere else. And we're not in a time where it's so acceptable to put the onus on elsewhere. But I mean, what is one thing that you know that came from your parents that you do, but now that you recognize it, you've changed it? So I'll give you an example. And I know you guys can relate with this because we have proven parents. But the word sorry is so absent from that generation for two reasons. One, they didn't like that accountability. And two, they're not saying sorry to no kid. I don't care how old you are. As long as you're a kid, they just don't like that. But that has allowed me to apologize to my kids very easily.
Yeah.
I live by the example and I remember how I felt. And I'm talking about, here's one example. It's so dumb, but it's so on point with these things. We are moving. I'm like a young teen. I'm like maybe 15 at the time, maybe 16. We're moving. Or no, we just moved into a new place. And we're setting things up, whatnot, get the TV going, whatnot. Cannot find the cable. I don't want to hear it. Cable existed, okay? So this piece of wire that goes back to TV into the wall of the house, okay? And my dad says to me, Dad, I love you. My dad says to me, where's the cable? I said, I don't know. I told you to watch the movers. I said, I did watch the movers. He goes, you made them steal the cable. I'm like, why would you steal a cable? And the whole evening he's upset, vexed as ever, eh? And I'm like, oh man, this cable's gonna ruin my night. Come on, man. I just want to live. An hour or two later, all I heard was, oh, it was over here. And I'm like, I'm still waiting to this day. Sorry for accusing you. My face has been blue. I run out of breath.
30 years later.
I'm like, oh my gosh. But I learned to accept the fact that I'm not going to hear for that. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's the flaw he has to deal with whatnot. But I don't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were quick to change it, man.
Oh, man. But, you know, having kids will do that because having kids makes you see yourself as that kid. Oh, yeah. Remember how helpless you felt about certain things. So when the opportunity comes to when I'm wrong about something, I'm like, oh, man, I thought it was so-and-so. Oh, my apologies. I thought it was so-and-so.
Yeah.
And my kids like, oh, my kids will be looking at me like, it's okay, Daddy, because they can't believe, oh, Daddy apologized to me. But it's like, it should be the norm for you.
Yeah.
It should be the norm. So it's been like that for the last like couple of years when I realized, you know what? Gotta do something differently. And another quick one. I was joking to my wife the other day. I was like, I think my son has gotten more hugs and given more hugs than I have in my entire lifetime to my parents.
I believe you.
Showing the affection on a regular basis is so needed.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't shown to you, there's no reason for you to repeat that crap. It makes no sense. But that's the society we live in now. People know what the trauma is. They understand what the negativity is. And instead of fixing it, they ignore all opportunities to make the change. So what kind of little thing has your parents done that you recognize could be in you and you've put a stop to it? It's usually something small. Would it be the no sorry business, unable to put things back the same way, quick to accuse? I can go through the list. I guess I am revealing my traumas. No accountability. It's like, it's there.
Yeah, it is there.
I feel like there's a list.
There is a list. We just don't have all of them. There is a list.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Wes, which one are you picking?
Which one?
Which one am I picking?
From the long list.
You know, it's not that easy for me to think of like the small.
Let me ask you this then. And this, I'm sure this is for all of us. How are you with being transparent with family? Is it something you find easy or difficult?
Yeah, that's difficult. To be transparent with them in certain areas, though.
Yeah. Well, the ones that get touchy, right?
Yeah, the ones that are touchy. Yeah, because I think it's like you love them to a point where it's like you don't want to reveal certain parts of you that you want to keep hidden, but you know you have to unveil it to God. Yeah. And you know it's easier to unveil it to God, but when it comes to unveiling it to your family, it's like it's not something that you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those. It's one of those movie topics. You hear those Tyler Perry stereotypical movies. You know, people complaining and arguing about family secrets. No one talks the truth in this family.
That's so true.
That's passed on a regular basis. It's like, you know, you can be the person to tell the truth, but it's also how you tell it, right? So you have that one person says, "No more lies," and that's when the movie comes to conclusion.
Yeah.
True. All the truths come out, but it's there. I urge you to like dig deep at what you see in yourself that's reflected in your parents' attitude, and if it's something that you recognize early enough to put a stop to it or make a change to it. But there's a lot of things that we don't seem to realize.
Yeah.
I definitely experienced one thing that I know used to impact me significantly when I was younger. And I don't remember exactly when it changed, but I remember distinctly there was a series of events that kind of made me stop. It was my mother is you've met my mother actually. Yeah. But my she's fun. She's lovely.
So we went on vacation. You forget, Michelle?
Right. Okay. Right. So you met my mama.
Yeah, I met your
mama. My mom is fun loving and just like down to earth. Like she's just lovable and fun. But she doesn't know how to be serious because she's passive. And I'm not even talking passive aggressive, just passive. Peace is her thing. If we can all keep peace and not get upset, she is happy. If something has to be brought up that is maybe a little bit traumatic or stressful or is a serious conversation, it's like you can just see the tension all over her face. She doesn't want to go down that route. And I used to be that way. I was very much, if the topic was going to be serious or hurtful or deep, I would make a joke and keep everything light. And I think in my teens at some point I got to a point where I became a bit of an advocate, and I was just very much like there's an elephant in the room and why is no one talking about it? And it has been the greatest release from the traumas of the past for me. I am very much of a, if there is something to be said, even if it's uncomfortable, I am going to say it. And if you're not a person who's okay with direct conversations, uncomfortable conversations, you're going to be extremely comfortable around me, because if there's something to be called out, I am the one who's going to call it out.
Yeah.
And that's because I saw the traumas that was created by her being so quiet and so passive. And I saw myself repeating that pattern of, I was accepting abuse where I shouldn't have, because I was repeating her patterns of quietness, of acceptance, of peace above everything. Make sure everyone else is okay. Everyone else is happy. Everything has to be happy, happy, happy. We can't actually be upset, but sometimes you need to be able to
Speak on them.
get those things, like you said, the Tyler Perry movies. Like, you have to get the secret, the things that's been hiding, the family secret out the closet to even come to the space of peace. Or everyone spends generations walking on eggshells because there's something about the past that they just don't understand.
And that's the thing. Peace is now confused with avoidance.
Right. Exactly. Ooh, thank you for that. That was the right wording. Avoidance.
Yeah.
And I know for my children, there's a lot of things that my children are too young to fully not necessarily fully understand, but I am not willing to share certain things with my children yet because of their ages. But I know for sure, as my children approach adulthood and as they're getting ready to now enter to the real world where they don't have the safety and the veiling of me or their father, I am going to share certain things. I want their awareness to be there, and I want me to also be a safe space for them to come back to for advice, so that they don't feel like, I can't talk to my mom about that because that's just too taboo, or that's just too this. They need to be able to have a safe space and say, actually, I didn't expect the world to give me this kind of crap out here.
Yeah.
But my mom, she's a safe space. I'm going to come back to her and say, yo, mom, guess what?
Yeah. That'll help prepare them, right? That's the thing.
That will help prepare them so they can continue breaking those curses.
Now, speaking of being able to have open conversations with your parents, we know certain cultures, not naming anyone in particular, but certain cultures, we laugh at the fact of how open it is, like way too open, right? Well, way too open for our comfort. So I should correct that, because it's not as though they're doing something wrong.
That's true.
For our comfort, it's too much, right? So we're still learning. If someone's openness makes us feel uncomfortable, it's a sign that we're still learning. So yes, they're real light. We're watching my favorite channel, real estate channel, and a couple there, older guy, younger woman, whatnot, and a realtor goes as far as like, there's a little age difference, they always have, the looks. People always wondering if that's his daughter, but she's a pretty mature 27-year-old, I'd say. I'm like, why are you telling us? They didn't tell us the age gap. And why are you telling us that she's very mature? Did you judge her as well? And I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable. Why are they doing this? I saw a second episode, and couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, both have kids, and she's buying the home, and I knew everything about how much she ain't making, how much that was due. I'm like, you're just supposed to go buy a house, and that's it. I should know all your details of your life.
Oh my God.
But their willingness to be open has probably helped them not be embarrassed from moments as much. It's probably helped them to heal a lot more, and I realized that, that's something maybe I need to look and work on myself.
But there's also a sense of discernment. It's one thing to be completely open about everything, but now use that information, go to the Holy Spirit, and now say, Holy Spirit, I'm looking for discernment in this circumstance. Because I don't think I could see my daughter going into a situation where they're buying a house with a partner who can contribute absolutely zero now. You can't assume they're going to contribute more later.
And homeboys like,
right?
More rooms to kids. I'm like, you're not paying us in. You done told us that you ain't got no money.
And those are the circumstances where we need to have God present in everything we're doing with this unpacking. Because it's one thing to just be open and honest. It's another thing to say, God, help me with discernment on how I navigate and how I steward this wisdom and discernment for the betterment of the next generation. Not just so that we can repeat the same traumas or different traumas.
It's true. It's true. Replace one for another. It's so true. Because I don't think ending very well that relationship. But that's a whole nother topic. Digression.
No.
But no, definitely. I've learned to give my folks grace. And one thing I've learned out of it, which is I find I enjoy this so much, being able to sit there and talk as an adult to another adult, even though they're your parents. When you get to that point, you get to relay back the lessons they taught you. And
Right.
I'll be honest with you, I've seen the look on my dad's face like, my son has sense, thank God. It's like I don't have to worry.
Aww.
Like, and you can feel it. And it's like your opinion has counted because the many times that
Yeah.
they've spoken to you, you've taken all the good things and you've been able to utilize it properly.
Mm.
And to
Right.
be able to try to teach them something, not like you're going to go out and teach them the whole world, but you're able to teach them something means that they're able to take your opinion, your idea, or your knowledge and respect it. That's growth.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't happening generations before.
Yeah.
No,
It's
you're
be
so
seen
right.
and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your
Yeah, you're
ideas
so
and keep it
right.
to yourself, right? Be seen when I call you and make sure you do the thing I told you to do. And that was as far as it went. So things are changing.
Mm.
But it only changes when we recognize exactly how much control we have the situation and how much grace we
Yeah.
really need to give our folks. Because as I can see,
Oh yeah.
For real.
no one's leaving our two countries just to go start a new life elsewhere.
Mm.
Some of us can, but it's not that
Right.
simple. And most of our folks did.
Right.
Yeah.
Left
That's
behind
so
their
true.
family to come start somewhere else to give their kids a better opportunity. If they did nothing else, they did.
Yeah.
That was traumatic for them, man.
That's true.
Oh, big time. They had no one
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
Good point, Lance. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
So, for all our listeners watching this, go take the time to give your parents, if they're still here, a hug. And if they're not,
Yes.
think of them fondly in the things that they must have gone through as a kid because no one's having this discussion with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yet,
Yeah.
here you are in one piece. Some parents had all the gifts in the world in this country, and they still ruin their kids physically, mentally, emotionally with abuse.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the three of us are
Exactly.
able to say that didn't happen. So,
Mm-hmm.
through all things, try and bring it to God because He will bring you that peace. And I have to say that's what's really
Oh
helped me in a lot of ways. And I know I'm not special,
Mhm.
so He'll help everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you guys again for touching on this topic.
Yes,
Kids
it was a
have
good
trauma.
topic. Yeah.
It came up last minute, but it's really important because parents are in our lives. That's how we get here. Whether they stick around or whether they're gone, at the end of the day, they were here at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and they left us a lot in our legacy, our DNA, our spirit, and our mindset. So
Yeah, they did the best they could.
exactly, out with the bad, in with the good, but give it to God. He'll make everything flatten out the way it's supposed to, and He'll lift you up where you need to go.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
So thank you all for joining us again with another episode of Baptized and Clueless. We'll speak to you again.
Yes, take care.
Have a good one.